What is your Tinder horror story? I've been waiting for the right thread for this. After a movie date with a guy I met on Tinder, we came back to my place. We'll call him Dude. I told him we could hang for a bit, but I have work in the morning, so I would need to go to sleep soon. Dude said that was fine, but he was hungry and he was going to order food. Okay, sure. Dude orders 2 large subs from Potbelly and a milkshake. Downs it. No judgment, he's 6 feet 4 inches, 210 pounds, younger, still growing, by all means. I didn't think anything of it until later. We end up messing around a bit and fall asleep in bed. I wake up to my front door opening and closing several times over a 5-minute period. My dogs are going nuts, and it's 1 a.m. What the heck is this guy doing? I open the door to my room that opens up to the rest of my apartment, and my bathroom is to the left where the light is on and the door is wide open. I walk around the corner to make eye contact with Dude, who is in a squatting position over my toilet, with a stick, poking around in murky brown poop water that is millimeters from overflowing onto my bathroom floor. Horrified, he yells, "Stop looking at me. Go back to bed." I have it under control. I'm still waking up trying to understand what I'm seeing and what's going on, and I just start nervous laughing. I don't know what else to do. He yells, "Why don't you have a plunger?" And I said I don't know, I never needed one until now. He tells me to go back to bed, he has it under control. I'm so disturbed, tired, can't process what's happening and have work in the morning. I go back to bed. I remember hearing him peek in my room a bit later and heard, I fixed it. And then heard him leave and my door close behind him. The next morning, I hesitantly approach my toilet to find the water is down. But there is something poking out from the bottom of the toilet, like he didn't get it all. Upon further inspection, what I was seeing was the tip of a stick. Some gloves, towels and barbecue tongues. Later I pulled out approximately 3 foot of stick from my toilet that had broke off, followed by several other stick fragments. Dude had broke several sticks. I heard my door open and close so much, because he was going outside to look for a stick. One would break, he'd go get another. Dude had left drippy poop water stains all over my bathroom floor. He also left my apartment so fast, that he left his underwear, and undershirt and socks. After work that day, I went straight to the store and bought a plunger. Lesson learned. TLDR, guy from Tinder ate a bunch right before bed, took a huge poop while I was asleep, woke up to him trying to plunge the toilet with a stick he found outside. I have a couple, not from Tinder, but met guys on Match back when I was single and ready to mingle. First one seemed quite nice, but was a bit controlling on the first date, deciding where we went without asking my opinion etc. But I figured some girls like that level of dominance, so maybe he just read me wrong. I agreed to go on a second date and he wouldn't tell me where we were going other than London. I told him I needed to know, just so I knew what to wear, but really it was for personal safety reasons. He told me to wear a dress, which I never do. When I told him I wasn't wearing a dress, he got stroppy with me. When I pushed and said I needed to know exactly where I was going with someone I just met, he told me I was being difficult and was totally out of order. He lost his temper and got quite abusive, calling me a stuck-up bitch and a cock tease, so I blocked him. Second one was just plain rude. He made several weird remarks throughout the evening. I made a joke about having a fat ass. I was totally honest in my profile about being a size 14 to 16 in UK size, and he said in a really deadpan way, "Yes, I noticed." He chewed gum throughout the date, and when we ate he stuck it to the side plate and left it for the waitress to clear. Then we bumped into a very merry colleague of mine, who I introduced and who drunkenly declared Fabergé Eog is the best boss ever. I'm really not, and the guy literally shrugged and turned his back on him. Rude. I ended the date early, and as I turned to leave, he tried to aggressively shoulder bump me and missed. I blocked him immediately and reported him to Match. I actually have a few others, but those are the actually amusing ones. Matched with this cute girl a few years back. Went out for drinks. It was going well, decided to head out to the beach with a six-pack to stargaze and make out. Somehow we ended up on a stolen sailboat at 2 a.m. with her ex, an old drunken boat repairman who made copies of the keys to steal the boat, and her dog. After arguing with her ex for 30 minutes she blacks out and falls asleep. Her dog is scared out of its mind and is shitting everywhere. Her ex starts tripping on acid and yells at me that I have to take care of her and never hurt her. Then runs to the bow of the boat to finish his trip. The old drunken boat thief is just chilling and chugging vodka like it was water. I said fuck it, cleaned up after the dog and brought the poor pup inside the cabin with me, then passed out. Next morning I woke up to the girl and her ex screaming at each other about some car crash and whose fault it was. The old boat thief was gone and I had no clue where I parked. I left without them noticing, got some coffee and breakfast, and wandered around the harbor until I found my car. Never talked with her again, but I didn't delete Tinder. Edit, the ex and old drunk boat thief are two different people. Also how we ended up on the boat. She got a call from her ex, I didn't find out he was her ex until we were already out of the harbor, and she asked me if I wanted to go sailing with some friends. I'm drunk and I love sailing. So I said hell yeah. Not me, but I worked as a bartender for a while and heard a lot of horror stories secondhand. This one girl who was a regular came in and told me about an awful Tinder date she had. Not sure of the specifics, but it wasn't bad enough for her to not bring him home afterward. He leaves the next morning, she brushes it off as a one-night stand, and a few days later, her debit card gets declined. Odd, since she is a bartender herself at a fairly busy place in our city and is good about saving and usually flush with cash. She goes to check her debit card, turns out there were a bunch of charges at Best Buy, Grubhub, a bunch of other stuff. Curious, she checks her credit card too. There she found a bunch of charges for streaming services. Netflix, Hulu, Sling, everything. She goes to confront the guy and finds out he deleted his profile. But she remembers a friend they had in common on Facebook. She reaches out to the mutual friend to try and track him down and it turns out he did the exact same thing to that mutual friend. Not sure if what the outcome was, but she was out for blood after a mediocre hookup turned into a serious case of identity theft. I went on a date with this guy who I didn't really have anything in common with but thought I'd give him a shot anyways. We met up at a bar and he had already pounded 2 pitchers of beer but was completely sober, at least from what I could tell. We hung out, talked, and although he seemed nice enough, I wasn't quite feeling it. I wanted to leave but he convinced me to go to another bar to get one last drink. Seeing as it was only about 8 p.m. I agreed to one more drink. We were sitting at the bar and a couple was making out next to us. He looked at me and asked what I thought people in the bar would do if he and I started making out. I knew where this was going. I tried to laugh and make some joke about no one paying attention. He then insisted that we should make out. I nervously laughed and told him that wasn't a very good idea and excused myself to the restroom. I came back to the seat and he had a shot waiting for me and insisted I drink it. No shot for him, just me. I declined and he got really upset and said he was ready to go. At that point in the evening he had consumed 2 pitchers of beer, 4 margaritas, and 2 more pints yet displayed no sign of being intoxicated. Nonetheless I knew there was a lot of alcohol in his system and asked if he thought it was a good idea for him to drive. He got extremely defensive and said he was fine. We exited the bar and he took off in the opposite direction. When I got home I texted him just to make sure he was okay because had had so much to drink. His response? I only date girls I fuck on the first date. Dodged a bullet with that one. It was my first time using the app and dating after like 3 to 4 years. I matched with a Chinese guy, he seemed really nice and his pictures made him seem very handsome. We talked for about a week pretty consistently, and I liked him a lot from text. When he asked me to meet up with him, I said of course. We met, and he was nothing like his pictures. I later found out that he used Godfrey Gao's photos and not his own. He said he used the pictures because people thought he was too ugly. I should have left then, but I didn't and we talked. He asked if I wanted to go for a walk at a park down the road and I said sure. I didn't see the harm in it. I told you, I'm really naive. I got into this guy's car, stupid, and off we went. To another city about 25 to 30 minutes from the coffee shop we had been at. He says he comes here all the time, there's a nice trail, so I'm like okay we can take a walk and talk. Nope. He parked and started kissing me, then he started groping me. I was honestly terrified. He wanted me to get into the back seat and when I said no he dragged me out of the car and made me get into the back seat. I was freaking out but it was like I was frozen. He locked the doors when he got in and I was trying to push him away and keep him off of me but he wouldn't stop. I kept saying no, but, and I'll never forget these words, he kept saying I've never fucked a white girl. He assaulted me, but I was lucky enough to fight him off and force the door open. I reached into the window of the front seat and grabbed my purse and took off down the little road and a car was there. A high school girl. I probably scared her to death, but I ran to her and begged her to act like we knew each other so the guy didn't drag me back. She called 911 and told me to get into her car, so I did and she locked the doors for me. The guy came looking for me. My sweater was still in his car and he was screaming for me but the girl said we were best friends so she'd take me home. The police came and took me for a statement. I had to take pictures of the scratches and bites he left on me and the female cop helped me fix my clothes. I never told anyone. I had just broken up with my boyfriend of 3 years because I found him in bed with my best friend, since diapers. I guess I wanted to feel something. Be attractive to someone? But I learned my lesson and now I make people send pics to me for proof they match their photos. Be careful, please. This will get lost but it's a doozy. Went on a date with an Australian who had just moved here 2 weeks before, so knows no one. Went on first date to a pub, completely fine. She was a bit of a force of nature, spoke a mile a minute, but we got on. Second date went to a really budget pub at her request, because she has only just got a job so hasn't been paid. Then she wanted to see some live music so I took her to this really cool live music pub about 30 minutes away. We got there the band were cool, but after she spoke to / annoyed everyone there, to the point that one of the girlfriends of the band asked me if I was seeing the red flags yet. So I tried to just move her back to near where we both live. We didn't live far from each other, but on the way back home she said we should go to this a big Aussie / Kiwi hangout bar / club, because she wants a drink. We get there and it's closed but a few people say we should join them for drinks. I slightly talk her out of it and she's like yay fine cuz I need a piss so I take her round the corner stand in front of her so she can piss with a degree of privacy, but then during her piss I hear something splat and hit the ground and she's like oh did I just shit, nah don't think so. I turn around and behind her see a big splat of diarrhea, like it was a fluorescent color that shouldn't have come out of a person, but it just seemed to have fallen out of her. So she's like what do I do? Oh wait I have the plastic wrap from the CD I just bought from the band. So wipes herself with that, which isn't very absorbent, more smeary. So I just quickly offer to call her a cab. But she declines and is telling me we should go find those people to go drink again. I swiftly say no and so she kisses me and walks off. What interests me is she very easily might have gone back to find those two guys and if she did they were probably in for a nasty smeared surprise if they were to get into it. Met a girl I was convinced I could marry. We went for a walk on a trail nearby, had a great time talking. We planned to go to the beach but it started raining and my mum lived nearby. She said it would be cool to meet her and despite me offering other options she said she wanted to go there. It surprisingly wasn't awkward at all, my mum really liked her. We all had dinner together and had a great time. She said she had to go to the bathroom and my mum needed something from upstairs. As she came out I was on the landing heading back down and she grabbed my hand and kissed me. The next time we met up we had sex at my place. I had to go away for work for a month or so. She said she was totally okay with it, understood it was my job and that I loved traveling. When I got back, everything was great. After a month we went on holiday together. The holiday was perfect. I was in love with this girl. We both had an amazing time. The train from the airport passed through her town first, so we made out, hugged, said bye, and that was the last time I saw her. I don't understand what happened. Everything was perfect. I texted her, she said she needed space. No problem, I had to go away again. When I got back I asked if she wanted to get lunch or something. She said she was over it and had moved on. We were dating for a total of like 6 months. I don't understand what I did wrong and I still think about her every day. Horrific. Edit, thought this would get buried. I really appreciate all the responses. I really do. Despite this happening in October, I'm still stuck. As my mum says though, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. I posted this before but I'll do it again. At the time I was really bad at just saying no, and this is a very long read, so please bear with me. A couple years ago on a warm spring day I match with a decently cute girl on Tinder and we talk for a day or two. She lives in a town 40 minutes away. I go there weekly to play MTG, so not a big distance. She's the manager at Taco Time and says she can get me a cheesy burrito for free. I figured worst case scenario I get a free meal. I'm not working today or tomorrow, so why not? I shower, put on a t-shirt and basketball shorts, go up and she's just clocking out, gets me a delicious burrito like she said. We talk for 30-ish minutes, mostly her talking about this Lion King show her daughter watches, and wolves. She's really fascinated with them, tells me how the female wolf will cover the alpha's neck in the face of a threat. I learned this in middle school but I pretended it was the first I'd heard it. She was so into the subject I didn't want to tell her I heard that already. She asks if I'd like to go home with her, but has to pick up her 3-year-old daughter first. No problem. She suggests we take her truck. I'm skeptical but give in, leave my car in the parking lot, always take your vehicle if possible, pick up her daughter at, I'm assuming, her dad's house, proceed home. This girl is blasting music. My music is loud, but this is obnoxious loud. Mostly Frozen and Moana songs, and Bodies by Drowning Pool. I hate that song. It wants to be metal, but it's not metal. But I've dealt with worse. Also, she has a fucking lead foot. Not speeding, but flooring it after every red light turns green, daughter in the back seat. I'm clutching the oh shit handle and tightening my seatbelt. This is not quality parenting but I didn't say anything. Driving out of town, further than I thought. Like 15 miles out on the outskirts of the next town, even farther away from home. I'm getting nervous. Drive along a long gravel road. Probably a mile. Totally unfamiliar with this area. If I choose to run, nobody will find me. Finally stop at a shitty trailer and says we're here. Try to look on the bright side. Obviously a big fixer-upper, but no biggie. Go inside, it stinks, place is falling apart, a portion of the ceiling is drooping from severe water damage. I can see a washing machine in the backyard full of dead weeds. No green grass at all around this place. She shows me around, shows me baby pictures, says there is no hot water, dishwasher doesn't work, there's a mom cat and her 4 or 5 kittens, strays obviously. She says it's going to be torn down next month because it'll cost less than fixing everything. I'm thinking what the fuck have I gotten myself into? Gives daughter her phone to watch some kids show on YouTube while mom shows me the bedroom. Least torn apart room in the house. Clothes scattered, but at least the smell is gone. Daughter comes in, mom's phone has shitty reception, I give her mine to watch. She leaves. Don't worry, I closed everything and anything NSFW is hidden. Mom shows me different outfits in front of a mirror, tries this and that on, nothing sexual yet. She takes this headcloth thing and wraps it around her head and makes a very racist Muslim joke. That really didn't sit well with me, so I politely asked that she please not say that. Eventually things get flirty, I make a move. I'm thinking I'm gonna get this over with so I can get the hell out of here. But because her daughter is in the next room, mom couldn't get a babysitter, the stench of the place, the cats that keep coming in and out, the entire place half destroyed, and wondering in the back of my mind if I'm going to be ambushed by a group of crackheads, I couldn't get it up. She nonchalantly asks if I could massage her lower because it's a bit stiff. There's cream on the dresser. I massage her for a bit, ease down her yoga pants, go down on her. We hear daughter yelling mommy, I slip her pants up and daughter walks in. Her video wasn't working so I fixed it and she leaves. Back to business. Strip her down completely, still barely getting a half chub. I'm trying to think of hot porn scenes. At this point she starts to go down on me, tell her it's performance anxiety, but I keep thinking her daughter is gonna walk in or a bunch of crackheads are gonna come up behind me with my shorts around my ankles. I keep my shoes on, you know, just in case I have to run. Converse are super convenient BTW. Her daughter does walk in again so I panic and cover myself and lose any blood flow I had. She asks where mommy is, she's under the blanket sucking my flaccid dick, but I say mom's in the bathroom, she'll be back in a minute. Daughter leaves. Mom never stopped sucking. This girl is a freak and it's not hot. Can't get hard enough to put a condom on. But eventually hard enough for penetration to work. This takes maybe 30 to 40 minutes to reach. In my mind I'm crying, I just wanna go home. I'm scared but I bite the bullet and go in raw, I just wanna get this over with. Alright, this is nice, got to a good rhythm, not so bad now. Heat of the moment maybe 10 minutes in she pins me down and I ask what she wants. You wanna know what I want? She sits up, looks me dead in the eye and says she wants a child. Give her a baby. Pregnancy hormones will send her horniness through the roof. WTF? I lose all blood flow. Again. I have to get the fuck out of here. Push through all the bad thoughts. We're doing doggy style now. Out of nowhere she says yeah, be my alpha wolf. Where the shit did that come from? Whatever, I'm almost there. I feel that little tingle. Finally. She says she's close, don't stop. Too late. Pull out and finish on her back. I'm sweating. Find a cloth and clean her off because I'm a gentleman. She asks me to eat her to finish. Sure, I love going down, and it's only polite. I'm going down for 5 minutes, eyes closed. She has shitty Wi-Fi so can't watch porn. Next thing I know there's this bright light in front of me. I open my eyes and she's recording me. I'm panicking, thinking I did not consent to this. I am very uncomfortable right now, please stop. Whatever, just one more thing to wade through. Keep going for a couple minutes, my jaw is getting tired. She pushes me off and sighs in disappointment, didn't finish. I nervously talk and mention I should probably get home, it's getting late, but try not to be rude about it. Get daughter, take my phone back, lots of missed messages from this and that person. Daughter has no shoes. Did she have shoes in the first place? I don't know. Thinking this is terrible parenting but have to bite my tongue. I carry daughter to the truck while mom gets booster seat ready. Off we go. It's dark by this point. It's a bit chilly but I'm sweating while listening to more stupid loud Disney songs. Happen to look over at gas gauge. Almost empty. By this point mom is singing along to epic rap battles of history. Again, not my thing. Finally make it back to Taco Time parking lot. Parked right next to my car. Home plate is right within arm's reach. She shows me 2 more epic rap battles. The last one was Lady Gaga versus Cleopatra. I don't leave too abruptly. Don't wanna be rude. Rap battle finishes. I say I should go, I had fun. She says consider her offer, of knocking her up, we'd be exclusive fuck buddies. My mind screams Jesus Christ, no. I ask if she has enough gas to get home. Says no, we'll probably run out halfway then she and daughter will have to hitchhike home in the dark. Fuck me. I pull a 10 out of my wallet, simply say get home. In my mind this wasn't a I want you to get home safely, This was a here is $10, I never want to see you again. Leave truck, get in my car, turn on AC and loud heavy metal to drown out all the thoughts of everything that transpired up to that point. Breathe deep for a minute, start the car, drive home feeling super grimy and disgusting. Take a hot shower. Go to bed. I wonder if I should have called Child Protective Services. TL, doctor matched with a girl on Tinder, got the wildest adventure of my life, never want to relive it. Met a seemingly nice girl on Tinder. We dated for 2 months. 2 months of living hell. After the 3rd date, she started telling me things about myself that no one can ever know. The kinda secrets that one would bring to the grave. Pressured her, asked her how she knew. Finally admitted that she practiced black magic. In the following weeks, she threatened to blackmail me, cursed my entire family, even though they did nothing, got paranoid and accused me of cheating when I spent most of my time driving for work, and demanded sex as and when she wanted even when she was angry. TBH, once when she was bent over in my car and I was shagging her like a jackrabbit on drugs, her voice changed to something screechy and raspy and I think I might have fucked a demon. Had enough and forced myself to break up with her after 2 months. Deactivated all my social media accounts and went off the radar for a while after that, until I found out that she had a new guy to mess around with. TLDR, girl was nuts, might have fucked a demon. Edit, I am getting some flack for all this black magic mumbo jumbo. Again, I am merely sharing my experience, cause this is what I really went through. If it's black magic, or simply a case of the girl having some really good connections, only God knows. 2 years ago, I matched with this guy who seemed like a dream on paper. He was good looking, my age, just a year older, and extremely financially successful, had made millions of dollars through a software invention. There were many articles about him online, and he had donated a majority of his money to charity, specifically in sectors I work in / am passionate about. He also donated a ton of computers to students in developing nations. Trying to keep it general as to not dox this guy, as he was not a bad person. I was so excited because I'd been out on a lot of first dates with wealthy, soulless guys, or guys without their act together, and I wanted to meet someone more like me, both passionate about helping others, and realistic about how they could do it. I have a philanthropic job where I make a decent amount of money doing wonderful work. Again, keeping it general / changed up some details to avoid doxing. When we met in person, something about him was so off. He seemed like he hadn't showered in a few days, he had this large gold chain across his neck, and he even talked a little to himself. The conversation we had was the craziest one I think I've ever had with anybody ever, and I work with traumatized children who've been displaced from their homes. He believed in conspiracy theories, in astrology, and even that he had psychic powers. The whole date, he kept telling me about his powers, his luck, and how whenever he wanted someone to work for him, he just imagined them, and they'd show up in their office. He also believed Anderson Cooper was a lizard person. After about 2 hours, it was interesting as fuck for me, I left. He messaged me immediately after asking for a second date. I said no, and he asked me if I wanted to take a $10,000 trip to Paris with him. I said no again. He offered me a $150,000 a year role at his company. I said no. He offered me $400,000. I told him no and wished him well. For about 6 to 8 months after, he would message me about once every 2 months, to tell me about tech deals he'd closed, to charity work he'd done, to pictures of himself in exotic locations. He would ask me for advice about his charity and his life. Finally, he disappeared from my phone, but he sometimes appears in my you might consider following lists on Instagram. Blocked him on all of these. What a weird guy. Edit, I forgot another crazy thing. He ate fast food and didn't exercise, but because he was in good shape, believed it was his psychic energy.